Hola, me llamo Señor Adams. Hoy vamos a hablar sobre los verbos pretéritos. Today, we're going to talk about preterite verbs, specifically stem-changing verbs in the preterite. First, we're going to look at the verbs dar and ver. Dar and ver take the er and ir endings in the preterite. Remember that there is no accent mark in the yo and l forms. Let's look at the conjugation of dar, which means to give, and ver, which means to see. Okay, dar, we've got di, diste, dio, dimos, distais, dieron. Ver, bi, biste, bio, bimos, bistais, vieron. As we can see, the conjugations are very similar. Okay, now let's look at stem-changing verbs. AR and ER verbs that have a stem change in the present do not stem change in the preterite. For example, pensar is an E to IE verb, but it does not stem change in the preterite. Yo pensé. Contar is an O to UE verb. It does not stem change in the preterite. Yo conté. And perder is an E to IE verb. Yo perdí. No stem change there. Okay, numero dos. IR verbs that have a stem change in the present have the following stem change in the preterite. This affects the el, ella, usted and ellos, ellas, ustedes forms only, as we'll see in a couple examples. Okay. E to IE verbs, the E changes to I. Let's look at the verb sentir, which means to feel. Okay. We've got yo sentí, tú sentiste, él, ella, usted sintió, nosotros sentimos, vosotros sentisteis, and ellos, ellas, ustedes sintieron. So we can see in these two examples, the E goes to an I. E goes to I. Sintió and sintieron. Okay, now let's look at E to I verbs. The E changes to I in the preterite. Let's look at the verb pedir, which means to ask for, or it can also mean to order. Okay, we've got pedí, pediste, pidió, pedimos, pedistais, pidieron. Again, E to I in both el, ella, usted, pidió, and ellos, ellas, ustedes pidieron. Okay, now we're going to look at O to UE verbs. The O changes to U in the preterite. We've got dormir, to sleep. Dormí, dormiste, durmió. Dormimos, dormisteis, durmieron. So in these examples, O goes to U. Now we're only seeing it in the el ella usted and ellos ellas ustedes forms. Okay, let's look at other verbs that also fall into these categories. We've got advertir, to advise, in the e to I verbs. Mentir, which means to lie. Preferir, to prefer. Sentir, or sentirse, which means to feel. Also in e to I, we have things like medir, to measure. Pedir, to ask for. Repetir, to repeat. Seguir, to follow. In the o to u verbs, we have things like dormir, to sleep, and morir, which means to die. So let's look at an example if we were to conjugate one that we haven't seen yet, which is preferir, to prefer. We've got yo preferi, tu preferiste. Usted, él, ella prefirió. Nosotros preferimos. Vosotros preferisteis. Ustedes, ellos, ellas prefirieron. So we have to look at the location where the E would normally change to IE in present tense. In preterite, it just changes to an I. The E changes to an I in each of these locations. So that's what we have to look out for. And the other thing is the endings are actually normal. Right? E, iste, io, imos, istais, ieron. Those endings are totally normal. Okay, I hope you're starting to understand the stem change preterite a little bit better. Adios.